I'm Dariana Fitzgerald here with Connecticut Home, and we're sitting down with John Grad, a mortgage broker at Right Step Mortgage here in Farmington, Connecticut. So, John, please give us a brief summary about what we talked about in the last interview to catch up our viewers.
So we talked about the reasons why you should use a mortgage broker, and we talked about Right Step Mortgage. We're a local mortgage company here in Connecticut. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. I've done over $1 billion in transactions, so I've helped a lot of consumers. And we talk about how brokers are faster, easier, cheaper, how we're leveraging technology to help clients, and just our value add as far as using a mortgage broker over a big box lender.
Okay, so getting into more questions now. What is one trend in finance everyone seems excited about that you're skeptical of?
I would say big tech mortgage apps that makes it look like you can get a loan in 2 seconds, but the reality is there's still human assistance in the background helping those out. It's not that simplified or that intuitive where the technology can answer every question. I mean, there's still a lot of behind the scenes and finagling loans and making sure that they work.
Yeah.
A lot of little nuances.
Yeah. I have a little experience with that. And the apps, they just it's kind of like false advertising. They make it seem everything gets done so quick, and then you're just like, what do I do?
Yeah, I call it AI with human assistance.
Right, yeah. What are some trends in your industry that you want to mention now?
I would say trends are there's a lot of new creative loan options that a lot of borrowers don't know about, particularly for self-employed borrowers that don't show a lot of income. One that comes to mind is a bank statement loan. We'll actually look at the average deposits going into a consumer's account, which could be much higher than what they report to the IRS. Another one that comes to mind is a DSCR loan, where investors can qualify based on the rental income as opposed to their tax returns and W-2s. So super helpful for people that don't show a lot of money on their tax returns. The brokers are definitely leading the charge in those niche products.
Okay. Where and how do you usually advertise, if at all?
So we do some paid ads on Facebook, but to be honest, I've been doing this for 20 years, so mostly through relationships and referrals. I'd rather invest in my partners than on big flashy ads and billboards. I want to invest back into helping realtors grow their business. So that's kind of how we've been scaling.
That's good. What's the most important thing to know about the mortgage business?
I would say that the lender you choose matters just as much as the rate. A bad process can kill the deal no matter how good the numbers look. Cheaper is not always better. If someone's giving you a cheap rate online but they can't close on time, you can jeopardize your deposit. You can miss your closing date. So sometimes it's not worth a couple $100 to have a horrible experience and spend countless hours and weeks trying to get your loan approved just to save a couple $100.
Yeah. So tell us about your charitable activities related to the mortgage business.
So we support a lot of local housing initiatives and financial literacy programs. We give back to any charity we can. If there's an employee in need or if there's something that they want us to sponsor, we're always looking to give back to the community.
Is there any specific one you want to mention?
We've supported local teams. We've supported the Red Cross, to name a few.
There you go. What is your best advice or suggestion to buyers?
I would say not to just shop the rate alone, shop the strategy. The cheapest looking option is always not the best in the long term. We don't want to be just a commodity and talk about rate. We want to give more of a consultative approach. So if we can teach you on how to build wealth, on how to pay off high interest credit cards, on how to put you in a better product that may give you a better ROI over time, we'd rather focus on that than just focus on just a rate and a payment.
Very good. What is your best advice or suggestion to the sellers?
I would say work with buyers that have been pre-approved, not just pre-qualified. It's more likely your deal will close because pre-qual is just as good as data entry, but oftentimes we'll find that this sounds cliche, but buyers are liars sometimes, where they might put in wrong info or have a typo. So it's very important to take that next step and work with someone who's pre-approved that client and actually analyze their W-2s, their pay stubs, their tax returns if they're self-employed, their bank statements, to make sure it's a viable deal.
What is your best advice or suggestion to renters?
I would say, run your numbers. Oftentimes you can own for the same cost as renting, especially with today's programs. There's a lot of programs where you can get in with no money down, or even just have a lower payment versus what you're paying rent, especially even on a after tax cost basis. So, I run through all those strategies with clients, particularly with long-term wealth building and tax advantages and just that pride of home ownership.
Yeah. What are some misconceptions or myths you have about the mortgage business or loan servicing?
I would say that all lenders service your loan forever. In reality, a lot of loans get sold to the secondary market, but at the end of the day, it doesn't change your rate, it doesn't change your term. A lot of clients want to go with a big brand name, but in reality, that loan can get sold off the next day. So that's not the most important thing, as is the terms, the rate, and being in the right product.
Yeah, that's interesting. What part of the lending or approval process do clients totally misunderstand?
That every deal is smooth and there's no hiccups, and that everything goes ahead of schedule. There's a lot of times there's problems with appraisers, there's problems with sellers, there's probate issues, there's clients that are not getting stuff on time. So our whole thing is to be super communicative with all parties involved, the buyer's agent, the seller's agent, so everyone's in the know and everyone knows what's happening in the transaction. Because no one wants surprises at the end. Good news, bad news, things happen, but it's important that we all understand that what's happening during the process.
Yeah, do you guys give updates every day and keep track of all the parties and stuff?
We give updates. Our ops staff is trained on communicating to all the parties involved, lawyers, listing agents, buyers agents, so that way everyone's in the know.
Yeah, that's good. What's the best or worst thing someone has ever said to you after a closing day?
The best and worst thing, I would say the best is that you made this super easy. Your staff is great to work with. We were dreading the process, but you guys really made it simple. I would say the worst, my bank said they could have done it cheaper, even though once we compared it, they couldn't.
Oh, wow. If you had to start a business tomorrow with 0 restrictions, no budget limits, no rules, what would it be?
I would say a nationwide mortgage brokerage platform that makes the process as easy as booking a flight online.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, one click.
Yeah. What's a professional skill that feels oddly like a superpower?
I would say breaking down complex numbers into plain English. Clients are often surprised how simple it feels once we explain it. We try to dummy down the process and put it in layman's terms, especially if people are not as financially astute or literate. We try to make it as simple as possible.
Yeah, that's always the best, and it's all about communication.
For sure.
All right. If someone shadowed you for a week, what would surprise them most about your work?
I would just say how much time is spent on solving little problems, on restructuring deals before they become big ones. So it's not glamorous, but that's why deals close. Oftentimes clients and referrals partners don't see what we do on the back end as far as restructuring the deal, fixing small problems on the back end, but The optics is that, you know, everything's gone smooth. We don't want to show them the dirty side of it, what we're doing on the back end.
Yeah. What is the wildest thing someone's ever asked if they could finance?
Someone asked me if they could finance a boat and, you know, use it as a second home. I said, nice try, but no.
What would your job look like if calculators suddenly stopped working?
I would be fine because I'm a numbers guy. I can run numbers in my head, but, you know, I'd probably say some of my staff would panic because they rely on technology.
Yeah. All right. If you could ban one acronym from finance forever, what would it be and why?
I would say the APR, which stands for annual percentage rate, it confuses a lot of people more than it helps. Rates and costs is what matters. The APR is the true cost of getting your loan for the first year, and it's expressed as an interest, and oftentimes people confuse APR with the actual rate.
Okay.
And they don't understand the underlying cost.
What would a reality show called Mortgage Wars actually look like?
I would say agents, lenders, and buyers racing against the clock with appraisals and underwriters as villains.
Ooh, that sounds actually really good.
Yeah, so thanks for watching again. Again, I'm John Grad. I'm a mortgage broker in Connecticut. You can reach me anytime, 860-989-6680 or johngrad@rstepmortgage.com. I'm available 7 days a week, whether you're buying, refinancing, or just exploring options. My team's always here to help.
Great. Well, thank you, John. Thanks for sitting down with us and sharing all your knowledge about financing and mortgages. I want to say a quick thank you to our viewers, and if you would like to be featured in a video like this, don't hesitate to contact. If you like what you saw today, please follow us on social media and subscribe to our channel. I'm Dariana Fitzgerald, and we are Connecticut Home.